Okay, so for our next topic, we are going to be again simplifying radicals, but this time with radical denominators. Now, first of all, whenever you have radical denominators, that is not permitted. So, we need to be working on this one. So, square root of 9, we all know, is a 3 because 3 times 3 is 9. And then this right here, let's see. So that will be over square root of, if I'm going to do this just to show you that again, prime factorization can be done here. So that's 3 times 3. It's going to be 2 times 3 times 3. This will go out because it's a perfect square. So therefore, you're going to have 3 over 3 square root of 2. Okay, well, first of all, we can simplify this and make it into a 1. So therefore, it's going to be 1 over square root of 2. Because you all know there's a 1 in the front. I don't have to write that down anymore. So therefore, 3 over 3 is 1 over square root of 2. Now, let's all look at this. That's not permitted. Therefore, I will have to get rid of that. And the way to get rid of that is by multiplying it by itself. So as not to change the value, I will multiply this by 1. And how is that possible? I will multiply it by square root of 2 over square root of 2. And that's a 1. So really, I'm not changing the values. Therefore, this will become square root of 2, because square root of 1 times square root of 2 is square root of 2, over square root of 2 times square root of 2 is square root of 4. And square root of 4 is now a perfect square, which is square root of 2 over 2, and that's your final answer. Okay, so our next example, I want to use square root of 8 over square root of 24. So let's do the prime factorization of 8. Okay, let's do it here. And let's do the 24 here. Okay, therefore I will have something like this. Okay, and now that will turn to a 1. And the way I could remove this is by multiplying square root of 6 over square root of 6. Which is square root of 12 over 6. Okay, so now we have square root of 12 over 6, and square root of 12 is really 4 times 3. That is 6. This is a perfect square. So therefore, that's 2 square root of 3 out of 6, which is divisible by 2. That is now going to become square root of 3 over 3, because if I divide this by 2, it's a 1. If I divide this by 2, it's a 3. So final answer is square root of 3 over 3. However, I want to go back here. I don't know if you saw that square root of 2 times 2 times 2 over square root of 2 times 2 times 2 is really equal to 1. So therefore, from here, you can already shorten the process by doing this. There's a 1 on top, and there's just a square root of 3 below. Because this cancels out with this, but please don't forget, this is still inside the radical. Therefore, this is the only thing we need to remove. So if I remove this by multiplying it by 1 in the form of square root of 3 over 3, 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3 over square root of 9, which is the same thing as this, square root of 3 over 3. Okay, for our next example, I want to do something like this. Example number 3. Big radical 3 over 4 times square root of 5 all over 2. Okay. We all know that this is square root of 3 over square root of 4 times square root of 5 over square root of 2. And we know that that is square root of 3 over 2, so that's a 4, perfect square, times square root of 5 over square root of 2. Okay? This is what we're trying to remove. So now let's do it here. That can be combined into square root of 15. However, I'm not doing that yet. I want to do that later. So I will have square root of 3 over 2 times square root of 5 over square root of 2. These are all times, so I can remove this by multiplying it by 1 in the form of 2, square root of 2 over square root of 2. And now this is going to become, I can now combine them all. I can have square root of 3 times square root of 5 is square root of 15 times square root of 2 is square root of 30 all over. I will copy the 2 here. And this becomes square root of 4. So therefore, I will have square root of 30 over 2 times 2. Where did I get the 2 from? From the square root of 4. Therefore, my final answer is square root of 30 over 4. Okay, per my example number 4. I want to use square root of 5 over 7 times square root of 2 over 5. We all know that we can break this into square root of 5 over square root of 7 times square root of 2 over square root of 5. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking I can cross this out because it will turn to a 1. Now I just have square root of 2 over square root of 7 to work on. So I will multiply this by square root of 7 over square root of 7. And this will turn to square root of 14 over square root of 49, which is square root of 14 over 7. That's the final answer.